Hello, dear friends. Welcome to the daily Kardec Radio prayer moment. We're gathering every day to connect with God. This is Sunshine Beck, and we're broadcasting from Northern California. Welcome, dear friends. In these days, more so than ever, it is so important for us to join forces with and for the good. So we connect our hearts and minds with God, with divine providence, to strengthen our ties to love, to remind ourselves daily to turn our soul towards God, to connect stronger, so we can become better receptors of God's light and love and help and healing. And as we receive the gifts from God through our daily prayers, we can become better vehicles to pass on the gifts and help others. Dear friends, today we picked a chapter from the book The Way, the Truth, and the Light by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. And today we will be reading chapter 74, Clean Hands. As we are spending our days washing our hands more so that we won't contaminate ourselves or others with our viral energies on our hands, we are now learning about another way of keeping or washing our hands clean. Clean Hands, chapter 74. And God did extraordinary wonders using Paul's hands, and we find that in Acts 19:11. The gospel does not say that Paul of Tarsus did wonders, but that God performed extraordinary wonders by using Paul's hands. The Father always works like that, utilizing all his children who can show him that they have clean hands. Many people, more conventional than actually religious, have found this passage from Acts to be a bit of information about certain privileges that might have been given to the apostle. Before anything else, however, it is necessary to understand that such a concession is not exclusive. Most believers would rather see Paul as a saint than valuing him as a hard worker. But what did the apostle's clean hands cost him? Very few ask themselves that question. Let us remember that the friend of the Gentiles had been a famous rabbi in Jerusalem, and that he had been active in high positions of power in the public sector. Nevertheless, so that the Almighty could use his hands, he endured all kinds of humiliations and faced every sacrifice for the good of others. He taught the gospel amid insults, whippings, afflictions, and stoning. Although he wrote enlightened epistles, he never abandoned the humble loom until his body was too old. Consider the particularities of this issue, and you will see that God is still the same Father, and that the divine mercy has not changed. He still asks for clean hands for edifying service to humankind. Such a demand is logical and necessary, so that the work of the Almighty may shine on human pathways. What a beautiful lesson for us. As we are happily singing happy birthday and washing our hands to the tune of this beautiful song, we just learned that there is another aspect, another important factor for us to wash our hands, and that is the moral washing of our hands. Paul did commit crimes, and so did we, to lesser or different extents. We do know we have done wrong, And for us to be better, best servants of God, it is important, as we're learning from Emmanuel, to wash our hands in a new form. How do we wash our hands? How do we morally wash our hands? Well, we do it like Paul. Paul cleaned his hands for God to be a better servant, and he used his hands, and they were clean through humiliations, through insults, whippings, afflictions, and stoning. And while we don't exactly have stoning anymore in our world, we still have it through mental stoning. We have found other ways of still slandering and insulting and hurting other people. So let us be prepared for the insults that we may encounter, reminding ourselves that it is a necessary cleaning procedure of our hands for us to become better children of God, aligning our life force with God's force, and always doing the good in our minds, in our eyes, with our ears, our mouths, our voices, our actions, our hands. Our hands are a symbolic sign for all of our senses, all of our parts. Dear friends, we invite you to close your eyes, if you can. And let us stay connected with God and Jesus as the most perfect human being incarnated on this planet, modeling to us of how to be the most perfect child of God, the most perfect servant of God, and modeling to us of how to be the most perfect human being. Thank you, Jesus, for coming to us, staying with us, teaching us, and healing us. And thank you, Emmanuel, for showing us the importance of washing our hands physically as well as morally, through becoming more resilient, through becoming more courageous, of joining forces, collaborating with each other, and of course, God. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to be of service and cleaning ourselves in the process. And with so much gratitude in our hearts for Kardec Radio, for all the spirit mentors, and this beautiful lesson from Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, we humbly ask for permission to close today's prayer. And so be it. Dear friends, thank you so much for joining. We're sending lots of love and lots of support in doing the good, always.